number 2, elite in-home sales professionals understand that every step of the sales process is paramount, and therefore are able to focus on separating themselves from the legions of truly terrible sales professionals out there in the world today. Unfortunately, too many sales professionals fall back into this trap of letting the tail wag the dog. And they don't understand that a strong opening where you can align with a common goal followed by a proven sales process, this matters much, much more than the close. Now, I'm not saying that closing abilities aren't important. I'm not saying that overcoming objections isn't important. We'll get to that. But what I am saying is that if we follow our proven sales process and we understand that how we truly separate ourselves by being an in-home elite professional is typically done much early in our presentation. I'll get to that in a second. The point is this: there's only one person in an in-home sales presentation that knows what has to happen and in the order of which it needs to happen in order to serve by selling. And it's not the prospect, okay? See, when the tail wags the dog and our presentation is all out of whack, that's when we get to the end of the presentation and we hear all the things that we don't want to, right? Oh, Steve, thanks so much for all this information, but what? But we have to think about it, right? Come on now. See, elite in-home sales professionals really view their sales process almost like a ladder. Now, I know many of you have 6-step or 10-step selling processes, and if you think about it kind of like a ladder, each step of the sales process gives you an actionable and achievable, easy goal to take to the next step, where then when you get to the end by climbing that ladder, it's just a natural conclusion for the presentation to not end or to end with a sale. It's actually awkward if you don't close. Okay, so if you are skipping steps 2, 3, and 4, and you're trying to jump all the way from step 1 all the way to the 5th step, how hard is that, right? It's darn near impossible. And even if you're successful in doing it, you run a very high risk of now the close coming off as high pressure and also a high risk of the sale canceling. Why? Because we didn't understand that every step of the sales process is paramount. Okay, now a key in modern day selling today is to understand that we have to be able to lead the prospect to feel like the information and the order in which they receive it is what they want and in their best interest. And again, as I already mentioned, the advantage is for you that you should already know what their concerns are, what their challenges are, and what they simply need to better understand. And this is why I talk about the power of usually when. I'll do that in a separate talk, but usually when I meet someone like you in this setting, it's because you've been thinking about it for a long time. Am I right? And usually when I meet with somebody like you, what they're really trying to figure out is ... You see where I'm going with this, but now you're in your sales process. You have led them and you understand what their concerns are, what their challenges are, what they need to better understand. Now you're following the sales process. Again, old school sales techniques rely and focus way too much on the close. And they fail to see what really separates an elite in-home sales professional. And that's what's mostly accomplished much earlier in the presentation, right? During the inspection or your preliminary worksheet, the needs analysis, whatever you happen to call it in your particular industry. Again, I'm not saying that closing ability isn't important or overcoming objections isn't important. We've all known that passionate sales rep that can't close a paper bag. Come on, that's not what I'm saying here. But what I am saying here is that if you have a strong opening, you can align your beliefs with the prospect and you go through your proven sales process, the close becomes the natural conclusion of your sales process.